This is Mac with Mac's Corner, and right now I'm just going to show you, I'm going to keep this a fairly brief strategy guide because once you get started you'll know what to do. So having trouble as the Western Roman Empire. Well, I'm going to show you what I've done to be successful. It's a little crazy, but so far it's pretty much working. Step number one, well, this is Mac with Mac's Corner, and we are going to go through at least a starter guide for the Western Roman Empire in Total War Attila. If we look here, a lot of land. We're going to show why that's both a good and a bad thing here pretty soon, and there's a reason. They call the initial challenge legendary, which I've never seen a legendary initial challenge in all the Total War games so far. So we're going to go through how to be successful. We're going to even do it on hard difficulty, and we'll go ahead and get started. Just if you're new to the channel, I like to start and stop as opposed to just kind of keep going on. So I don't want to waste your time either. So how about that? Oh, I'm going to assume you've seen the intro. Hold on. There we go. And well, if you haven't seen the intro, if you're going to use the strategy guide, you'll probably wind up seeing it, right? Okay, so here's our initial mission. Just survive until the spring of 0400. Yeah, so we got to just survive 5 years. And we get some money. Huzzah. So, once again, we take a look and we have a lot of space. It looks grand, right? Oh, man. We've already conquered half the map. Well, it's about to get nailed from all sides. First and foremost, you can be as severe with this as you want. Well, let's just do the military first. What you're going to notice is things like these Fidotri spears. Upkeep cost 215. Yeah, they are decent, but compare their stats and then compare them to your cohorts, and they're not that much better, but their upkeep cost is substantially more. And right now money is our primary problem. So first things first, we're going to go through, and you can kind of do this in any order you want. Me, I personally don't particularly like using skirmishers. It's up to you. I know people like to micro a lot, like skirmishers. I always love Total War more for the strategy. The tactical battles are fun. So I go through first and foremost and take our legions, and then set them all on a course to where? That's right, Rome. You're going to see why in just a second. So go through, disband, and then where are we going? That's right, we're headed to Rome. Or probably up here, northern Rome.
For battle.
So as I do this, I'll kind of talk through. Now there's different strategies on how you can play. Obviously, I never did see what the upkeep goes. Yep. We're not going to be invading any cities anytime soon. We are purely on the defensive right now. There's a really good kind of written guide about if you really want to try and maintain as much of the empire as possible, you can go for it. I prefer what I'm about to show you. So let me finish doing this. Basically, do that with all your armies. And send all of your armies, well, he's already good to go, to Rome. What we're going to do is we're going to consolidate power. Now the problem is what are we giving up when we consolidate all this land? Well, we're giving up all the income and the influence and everything it brings in. Right now, though, it's bringing in far more troubles than it's putting out. I think this is the guy. One of these guys I think I just disbanded. Yeah, the guy in Britain he's going to get, he can't even make it out of the country. Like, it's like he just gets massacred here in turn 1, if I recall correctly. So you might as well just go ahead. He's not making it home. So disband, at least not as an organized army. And here's the crazy strategy that I've done that actually works. You go through, and you see all these provinces, You say raise or abandon, which guess what? They're no longer our problem. Once we have abandoned these provinces, we don't have to worry about them anymore. So go through and abandon all of the provinces. So I'm going to go through and do that. And I personally only keep Sardinia, Sicily, and Italy, or what they're modern day known as. Everything else, I abandoned. So let me go ahead and do that right now, and I'll come back. Okay, so I've gone ahead and abandoned all of the provinces I want to abandon, and I just abandoned entire provinces. I don't try and hold on to a settlement in any of them. So we start off with funds of 8,000. We're not going to be rich anytime soon, but it starts off good. So what's the logic behind this? What ultimately is an empire about? However you want to look at it, essentially it's about the centralization of wealth. It's about spreading out your empire and taking the wealth from all these places and bringing them into your capital, into your spot. So what we've done is, instead of doing that a little bit at a time for a lot of long-term wealth like the Roman Empire was, we've acknowledged the fact we're not going to hold on to most of this. So let's grab all the wealth we can now and suck it into the central area, which we are going to try. So the heart of the empire. We're going to try and hold the heart of the empire. And with that in mind, we have 8,000, but you're going to see here next turn, it's going to come, and don't forget to research technology. Right now, I don't even worry about military. We need to get our economy going for anything. We got to get stabilized first. So some guys tell you to delete churches. I don't like doing it. One, because the increase in religion does make you more stable. And two, the public order benefits. And for me, I like these. The sanitation benefits are huge. And it seems expensive. Well, I won't do this term. It seems expensive now, but it's really not that bad. So I like to start off in Rome, centralize first. No need to upgrade this right now. I want to go ahead and get the town upgraded. But first and foremost, what's going to be our primary issue? If you look over here, if you said food, that's right. So problem number one we need to solve once we've gotten rid of... Right now, this surplus of food is about to go kaput. So problem number one, we need to fix that. So we're going to start building, not industry, fields. We're going to build a field here. I went ahead and upgraded this. It doesn't really help the food. Well, I might wait on that. Money initially is, it's important, but... Well, no, I just want to go ahead and get it done. And especially Rome, I want to start, I want to... If our last stand has to be Rome, we'll make it Rome, as long as Rome can be strong. I mean, you started the first game out, right, with one province, and you expanded. We can do it again if we need to. Hopefully it won't come to that. Then we move over here. Once again, we have our orchards, fine. And I like to, you can centralize provinces. I like to split them up. Another thing I like to do is, right now, trade jetties. Yes, I like trade jetties. So my strategy for every province, for the most part, unless it specializes in something, is you have your city, your capital, you have your city, a trade, a religious unit, and some sort of sanitation, and then a military building once we get to that. And then in my little city, basically I use the little cities I use to feed and bring in some extra money. So I'll do the city, a trade port if the port's needed. If a port's not needed, I use industry. A food source. I try and keep as provinces as self-reliant on food as possible, because that'll be the #1 killer later in the game. And then a sanitation building for the fourth one. So I essentially use these cities to support the money-making part of the big cities and the military production of the big cities. So as you go through, upgrade what you can on the first turn. Let me go finish doing that and be back. Never mind, we've pretty much done all we can, so don't forget
The family tree shows the relationships between members of your faction's ruling family. Family members can be made heir to the faction leadership, married or divorced. They may seek to embezzle funds for your cause or rally support for your family amongst the elite. You can spread rumors about other faction members to diminish their popularity or carry out assassinations.
I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm making you listen to this. My bad. So, yeah, my fault. Zoned out there for a second. So this is us, the Emperor, and not well liked, and we certainly don't want to be leading any armies. What we do want to make sure, though, is our generals don't start getting more influence than us, because that would be bad. So we're going to go ahead, Master of Office, worry about that later. And might as well, if we're the Emperor of Rome, well, we might as well make ourselves governor of the Roman province, right? That would make sense. So we make ourselves governor, and we're out of money. So we'll go ahead and we will end our... I have a feeling I'm forgetting something, but life will go on. Oh, when you do upgrade, it's up to you. I like to do cattle. It's a nice balance between food and money, but a lot of it's personal preference. You can go pure food if you really want to be safe on food. If you think you're good on food, you can always go, whatever. I just think cattle's a good balance. Oh, I can't... Wait, I thought I did. Oh, I was free to do that. Okay. Never mind. I thought it cost money to do this. So I thought it was going to be out of money. I guess it doesn't. This guy we want to keep as a general, so we don't want to use him. We'll put him in charge of definitely nowhere. Hold on. What's his stats like? Intelligent, sure. Right, maintenance cost and tax rate up. Maintenance cost down, tax rate up. Yes, please. So, Magna. Here we go. Do we got anybody else? Did that one cost us money? No. Okay, so it's only these guys that cost us money. I just can't believe I did not know that until right now. Venetia. Ah, but we don't know their stats, do they? Yeah, screwed though. He's a fighter. Relentless attacker, fearless warrior. I have a feeling them with better generals, but we don't need generals right now. I'm going to leave that be for the time being. Oh, no, yeah, it'll be fine. And then Edicts. I'm sure you're tracking this from the first
This tab
game.
shows all the units or ships. Agents are recruited directly. Edicts can be issued to
Bread
any
and
province
Circus Edict is your bread and butter. I don't know. I've never played a game where that just didn't seem to be the edict that made the most sense. In all the games, it seems like public order and food are the primary issue, no matter what you're doing. And what was our other one? Oh, there we go. Now we got to do Rome, Edict, bread and butter. And now we will end our turn. Yes. I don't know if you want to watch this part or not, but just to give you an indication of kind of what's going to happen on the first turn. Yeah, I don't care. I'll try and keep it quick, but I just want you to see. So, as you can see, attacks from everywhere, and this is why it's completely pointless to hold on to them. One of the things that does frustrate me, though, is any city that gets attacked, it won't let you abandon, which seems really counterintuitive to me. Now, when you abandon the settlement, you basically raze it to the ground, take as many resources from there and the surrounding terrain as possible, and you head home. It would make sense to me if you got attacked, you couldn't get the income from razing or abandoning the settlement, but I don't know why you can't abandon it. So you got all these people that are wanting to go to war with us. Oh, did I not? Retreat.
Fall back! Journey completed.
Yeah, no point in getting into a pointless fight.
At the end of the warrior's throat stands your funeral pyre.
Okie dokie.
I will bring the torch.
So as you can see, just barbarian hordes and even other nation states coming at us from everywhere. See, this is what I say. Can't abandon the settlement because they got attacked. That's just silly to me. And the funny thing is, then they take money from it. But we didn't get money from it. Like if you... yeah, okay, anyways. Alright. What do you know? Can I predict the future? Can I predict the future? Alright, so... Now you're thinking, but what the hell? What are we going to do? So let's try and abandon, before we forget, this city again. So here's the bad news. The bad news is we just abandoned our entire empire. Not good, right? Well, here's the good news. Guess what we do have? A lot of money. Of course, we have to survive our food shortage. And if we look at our morale, public order is deteriorating. I would say it's devastating already. And at the current rate, there will be rebellion next turn. This is why we didn't want to just disband all our armies, and this is why we have all of our armies heading south. For this exact reason. Because what we're going to want to do is consolidate our army as best as possible. with the intention being,
We hunger.
we know there's going to be a rebellion. We're going to try and put it down with what we have as best as possible. And whatever cities they do take, we're going to retake. But we can't stop building. Even though we know rebellion's coming, we can't stop building, especially with the food shortages, because that's just going to be an ongoing problem if we don't deal with it. So I'm going to go through, and as I said, I like to do cattle herds. And let's see, develop land, yes. Fields. Some of this stuff, I probably should have prioritized food more the first turn. I just wasn't. I was trying to kind of talk and do this at the same time. But here's the thing: we got so much money now, you don't necessarily need to worry about prioritizing. You need to worry about, hey, investing. We're at the investing point now. Investing in food, investing in turning these things into trade jetties for money. Priority 1, making sure we are building enough food to keep our people fed and our armies fed. And then number 2, getting into a substantial positive cash flow again. So let me work on that, and then when I get to the end of the turn, I'll come back. Okay, so one, don't do what I did. In my kind of haste to not try and keep y'all waiting, I forgot to abandon these 2 provinces, and we've already told you what happened with Britain. So that's kind of what's going on there. And do they bring in a lot of money? Yes, but that means when we raise them, they're worth a lot of money, and we can't hold them anyways, or it's just not worth the time, effort, and money it would take to send armies down there to hold them, because we're trying to stabilize. So what's the benefit? Okay, all that money, where did it all go? It is gone to investing into our central empire, primarily into food and income-producing assets, because we want to even us out. Once again, I know that some of the guys say get rid of churches because they take up a lot of money. They do, but the public order benefits are amazing in the long run. And we want a central core. Once again, if we instead of trying to, when the outside breaks, the center can't hold, or however that expression goes, well, we're just turning our outside into our center, if that makes sense. Reorganizing our boundaries. So we'll go ahead, we'll hit. Oh, and real quick before I forget, I've turned in these cities, I've converted from, if it was a military barracks, I turned it into a trade jetty, because we're just not going to be building military right now. We're going to have to make do with the military we have at the moment. And then anything that was either a fishing or a military port, as I said, I turned into a trade port. And then if it was a military just on land building, I turned into a port if I could. If I could not, Sagus is a good example. I went ahead and destroyed it. This is what I mean. I destroyed it, and then next turn we're going to put something else there. Hopefully that's all making sense so far. Now the rebellions are going to start, and the major step number 2 is essentially getting food back on track and putting down the rebellions, which are going to happen, because one of the consequences of doing all that at once is
this panel shows statistical.
It destroys your morale for a turn, but just a turn, which causes the rebellions. I prefer just getting it all over, done with, and dealing with it early in the game than trying to. Some people argue to do a little bit at a time. Well, then you got, it affects your entire empire. So might as well get it over and done with. Without further ado, let's go ahead and in turn. Still assign a provincial governor.
Your family's political power is determined by 2 factors: control and dominion. Your control over the political situation and the elites is determined by your ability to resolve political matters and react to other faction events, and can be hard to attain.
Okay. Yada, yada, yada. And voila! And then normally I want to go through the turns just so you can see what's going on. This is our armies moving. I forgot to move him that turn. But as you can see, we've devastated everything. So the barbarian hordes can move in, but they're going to move in on... You have to go through land that's devastated and take a little longer, or try and settle there, which it's not going to be overly helpful. Once again, this is the one that really annoys the Jesus out of me. Is it won't let you get rid of it. It drives me nuts. But they won't conquer it either. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. But when the rebellion happens, I just let the rebels take it. See, here's the issue. Barbarians are already coming. This is why we need to take what armor we have, and we need to consolidate it into a cohesive fighting unit.
Look to your gods and pray, for only in them will you
The
now
world hates
find
us after, I
mercy.
guess, 1,000+ years of Roman rule. They must be a bit peeved at us at the moment. Huzzah. What are we looking at now? Okay, so they've taken it. Good. Because we don't want it. Or, no, you can just have it. We can go to peace now. I don't care if you keep it. I've gotten lucky so far where the rebels have tended to not try and take over these islands and want to come into Rome, which is good. So we can go ahead. I like to meet up in Mediolanum with what I got. You don't want to wait too long because you don't want them conquering everything. At the same time, you don't want to rush into the fight and lose it. This is the guy he's a much better general. So start consolidating the forces. I get rid of him because he's too much money. Well, unless they changed it on me. I don't know if it changes it. I thought it would stay the same. Yeah, I think it does. Yeah. So we're looking at our provinces now, our forces.
Ready for orders.
Still moving them east. I'll take care of that in a second. South. And did we forget to move them? I didn't think we did. No, we didn't. Okay. Or maybe we did. Whoops. Well, we got them moving in from the east.
Hunger for battle.
And these bad boys down here are gonna... I think I'm gonna go ahead and just disband them. By the time they get there, it'll be too late. We can use the money for other things. So probably a smart move to just go ahead to abandon the African Legion like we did the British Legion. Just too far away to be useful. Cost some needed money every turn. What's the point? Once again, the next turn, the rebels are going to be trying to take over, but before they do that, let's go ahead and reinvest when, where, and how we can reinvest. Once again, you'll see, though, we did a lot of building last turn, so because of that, the best place to be in Rome Total War games, in my opinion, is when you can upgrade every possible upgrade every turn, but not... Alright, so we want to do industry. Because we can't do a trade. Let's say you get your money maker, your food maker, your population maker, and then the third one I typically make like your sanitation, public order, whatever makes sense at the time. And then I do my troop building specifically from the main settlement. But as I was saying, the best place to be in Total War, in my opinion, is to be able to upgrade everything you own in one turn and still have money to build an army and maintain an army. But we're not there yet. Let's see here. Always the decision. Do you grow your capital first or do you grow your little guys first? I like to grow the little guys first, but you do as you please. And then we'll do our pound. And we've done all we can, so we go ahead and hit the enter button. See how funny? Oh yeah, and make sure we're researching technology. I keep going because I want to get down to the level 3 cattle pens. I work on economy quite a bit and just try and hold the line. Once again, the beginning of the game is stabilize and hold the line. Let's see what kind of damage the rebels are going to cause. The real challenge is consolidating before they do too much damage. Dun.
War! Our gods demand it. Our ancestors love it.
This could be
I
bad.
expect to see mewling like a woman.
Subian hordes to our west. Yeah, I wish we could sort it away because these are just our garrison forces. So although I'll play out the battles when it's worthwhile, when it's just a waste of time. I was a kid, I used to try and cheese it, do as much damage with with what little units I have and stuff, and it was kind of fun. But I'm too old now. I don't have the time or the patience, which is ironic because you think you can get the way around. Too many games to play. I can't get too focused on one game. is a good problem to have. Well, the good news is they just sacked the cities, which I know sounds silly, but that actually is fine with me. If anything, maybe they'll start helping us deal with the rebels. That would be kind of neat. Enter war on ally side. No, I don't want to break our alliance. Sure. It ain't like we're going to go help you. It's like we declare war and then do nothing. Besides, they're the ones with all the money. They're the solid empire to play. This is the challenge. Alright, so that's about where we're at right now. Oh, really? Man, that couldn't have come at just a worse time. Son of a bee. So I've kind of shown you the advice so far. Let me kind of go through and do my planning. I'll walk you through what I did and come back. Another example of where I kind of told you how I standardized 3 of them. The 4th is very dependent on the province, the point in the game, what I need. So, for example, strategic resources, of course, I shouldn't say of course, but I always develop the strategic resources. So that's usually what goes to the 4th one if there is a strategic resource there. Another thing, it goes without saying, but make sure whoever you give your main control of your main army to, they're loyal. I just figured I'd add that. Just no matter how great the general is, if he's going to turn his back on you. So just a heads up on that. That's another reason you want to pick your brother or whoever this is, because of personal loyalty stuff. Oh, and he's heir to the throne. So yeah, he's a good one to pick for your main army. Me personally, I disband everybody else once they get there. All right, now on to the next turn. We've upgraded everything we can upgrade and still have just a tiny, tiny bit of money left over. What do you know? So we're still sitting positive cash flow if you want to take a look at our trade and finance. You could technically lower income, but at this point, public order is so crappy it doesn't really matter. We might lower it later if we really need to improve public order. For right now, we're just going to be having to deal with putting down rebellions as they pop up until our food shortage can get fixed. But in turn. That's not good. But we'll be okay. Want to try and hold on to these northern provinces too, if we can. But the big one to make sure we hold on to right now is Medio, and that's kind of the linchpin. If you hold Medio in, you can hold the rest of Italy. Protective stance. The thing is, they can keep raiding them, but their raid income goes down after a while. Eventually, it just doesn't do them much good. And we're going to deal with them shortly. I was kind of hoping they go to war with the rebels. But apparently, they're going to keep on heading south, so we're going to have to deal with them. Yeah, hordes are a bitch. And yeah, early game decisive battle is, yes, it's going to be between this horde and our guys. Obviously, dealing with the rebels is a pretty big deal too. But every game I've played, they've come down to do that. And you either beat them or you don't. And if you don't, it's game over. But I've usually been able to beat them. So they come in, here's what happens, they came in and they just did their whole barbarian horde, raised everything, but they just raised a settlement that we'd already abandoned. So not only are we not having to deal with that settlement, we're also... Alright. Oh, can we actually beat him? Oh, alright, let me go ahead and play this. Oh, it's the rebels. Okay, let me go ahead and play this out real quick. I'll play it out with a big battle. I don't want to talk while I'm playing through these little ones, so I'll be back. Alright, so it was close, but the indicator wasn't quite as on my side as it looked once I got into it. Spearmen were able to make good short work of their cavalry, but my guys couldn't handle the heavy infantry that well. Oh, why? Because I guess it looks like they're better heavy infantry. And the big thing that got me was this guy, their general's unit rank. Just couldn't break them. But we did enough.
Disengage! At ease, men.
Where I guess it's actually kind of irrelevant at this point. Alright, battle, protective stance, and then they're gonna die. At least they did some damage before they went. Where was this at anyways? If this was up north, I'm not overly concerned about it. I think, oh no, I think it was to the, let's see. Vienna, huh? This is why you want to consolidate your army, because this is the kind of stuff that happens. It's about even is what it's saying. I hate I said I used to manually do it and try and do as much damage as possible, but auto resolve. We did some damage. They took Neapolis.
Long-standing trade partners develop a healthy respect.
As you can see, here's the most important part.
Reflected by increasing
Look at that. It looks ugly, I know.
Over the life of the agreement.
Eastern Roman separatists are gone. That's good. That's not. I wish the Western Roman separatists would go too. That was our general who died. All right, still losing men because of food. But guess what? So it's looking bleak. It's looking pretty bad, I admit. Here's the thing, though. We still have, what is that? Positive cash flow. And what is that? Yes, we can finally feed our population. So the real question is what to do with the army we have.
We hunger for battle.
And we've got a pretty good size one. I like to go ahead and just get rid of the rebels, personally.
On the move.
He goes there.
Ready for orders.
And then, how big was he? Yeah. And then we'll go here. I like to play out the close ones. I don't mess with them.
Your army has suffered casualties and requires fresh recruits to
Yeah, they'll get there. They'll get there. Decisive victory. What do we do? Kill the captives. They are traitors, aren't they? Yeah, we already have. And they're Romans. Gotta keep in mind, these are Roman soldiers, so sure. We'll take on whoever wants to join.
Commander, your next command. We hunger for battle.
Yeah, what are we gonna do? If you said combined forces, that's right, because that's what we need to do. With what it'll let us do anyways. Okay, well, I don't need that guy.
On the move.
So go ahead, disband this guy. Do we have any other skirmishers? Let's see, disband a skirmisher. Like I said, I just personally don't like them.
At your command.
You play with the army you want to play with.
At once.
It's just too easy to run them down with horses. Now against, yeah, anyways, yeah. They're just not my cup of tea. Go ahead and disband this general. I don't know why it said it killed him, but okay. I hope he wasn't one of my family members. I don't think he was. Alright. And then we're pretty much ready for the next turn. Just take the money you got and go through like I'm about to do and just keep... In the cities you have, just keep on investing. Whatever the morale is, we're going to... As I said, this is all about putting down local issues while still maintaining the ability to build. So add the Bach. And in case you're curious, there's Vienna. We might retake it. I might even, I'm not overly worried about it right now, but I just don't want them coming into Segusta. I'm still, other than Neapolis right now, we've still got control, at least for the time being, everything I want control of, but for the time being kind of the key word. Yep, upgrading what we were upgrading, and this one I don't say I've never seen before, but yeah, they just completely raised northeastern Italy. So the real question is, how much do we mess with these guys, and how much do we worry about the companions of Amosia coming in at us? We got 3 hordes headed our way. Once again, the worst thing you can do is get frustrated and just quit. Resiliency is the key. It ain't over till it's over. So we're going to keep on driving on. Go ahead and hit in turn. Yeah, there's a reason they call it a legendary start. You can't expect everything to go smooth. There we go. This is good, though. Things that come in. Alright. I guess they're going to either raise or invade it. I kind of hope they settle it, because then we can capture them in there and destroy them without having to worry about them running. Apparently not. Okey-doke. So this went back and forth between two cities they just raised, which is good for us, because they're not really going to get that much money from it. Ah, excellent. Good, because I thought we were going to have to attack them. Alright, let me go ahead and get my battle order set up. Another thing to keep an eye out for, too, by the way, is the integrity of the armies. Victories should help. So, as long as we can survive this, we should be in some decent shape. Surviving this is going to be key, though, so I'll be back. I mean, I'll probably show you the battles when we get set up. Round first. Here's not such a big deal. They can make a big difference in other places. So, good job on that one, CA. So, the more I think on this, I remember last time I did this, it was more decisively in our, or at least a little bit more in our favor. And we're not nearly at full strength yet, but we're in our own provinces, which means he might still be messing with us, but we're still making money. We haven't lost the game. What we don't want to do is lose this army. So I think instead of trying to fight right now where we're outnumbered against a freaking 4-star general where we have 1 star, I'm gonna go ahead, retreat,
Journey completed,
and fight at a place and time of our choosing, not his choosing, and try and get some experience along the way too.
I beg you, take up arms and attack these people.
Sure, for 2,000. I'll declare war on him for 2,000 gold. Not gonna send you any troops, but you know, whatever. So once again, the entire strategy is space for time. Trading space for time.
I speak with honest and honorable tongue. I demand that you listen with equal honesty.
You demand? Shouldn't be demanding. Why in the hell in a million years would I do that? Counter offer. What does this mean? Okay. Payments. $3,000. There you go. You can have her for $3,000.
When I hunt, I look for sport. When I
Oh.
speak,
Adios. Again. Alright, is this our forces or theirs? Oh no, another horde? This is that one horde, isn't it? Not good. This is not good at all. Oh! But we have a reinforcing army. Ooh. Man, 2 hordes, we gotta deal with it sometime. Question is, do we want to deal with this now or later? Cavalry. A lot of archers. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that I can't imagine that their foot infantry are that great. He's only 1 star compared to 4 stars. Oh, but who's reinforcing him? $1620 versus basically even. Ah, screw it. Alright, let me get set up and then we'll go. Okay, so at least we are on the defensive with some fortifications. Primary issue is going to be our army is on the way, our main army. So can we hold out or at least do enough damage? The good news is they're split up. So even if We lose the town. I'm not even going to focus necessarily on holding on the town. If I will, if I can. But the most important thing is they have divided their army. So I am going to try and see. Whoa, what was that? I am going to try and see if I can piecemeal them one at a time. That would be money. So let me get set up, figure out how I'm going to do, and I'll be back. Alright, so admittedly, remember how I said I hate to fight the little garrison fights? I forgot. That's how I won it the first time. So I kind of take back. You kind of have to, at least early game. The whole function is just to wear them out, wear the hordes out. You're not trying to win with the garrison. You're just trying to do as much damage as possible. And you can actually do some pretty decent damage, to be honest. Like, if you auto-did it, they might lose like 18 guys. But if you focus your forces and focus not on winning, just on doing as much damage as possible, yeah, you can hurt them pretty bad. So I had to go back and just, I'm not going to videotape all the little garrison fights, but I am going to be doing them before getting back to exactly where we left off. Just wanted to go ahead and be clear about it. So I'd be back. Oh, I guess you missed it, but I tried to record it and do it fast. So anyways, so instead of doing 18 casualties, we did like 525 casualties. So that's there you go. So we lost 393. We destroyed a third of their army with this little garrison force. So yeah, it is kind of important, and I got to stop skipping it, at least for right now. So just as another example of how, I mean, I guess it kind of is cheese a little bit. This is why I don't like doing it. But if you're looking to win, this is how you do it. I mean, literally, I've got 5 units against a full stack. And over here, I've got them locked down, just they're taking massive casualties. I've got my cavalry over here. I was able to chase down their archer group. Will I lose a settlement in battle? Yeah, but I've basically, this horde's been basically neutralized at this point. I'm not neutralized, but they're far less combat effective. So just an example of how big a difference you can make with tactical battles on the defense and settlements. Alright, so I admit I did a restart just to go back to what I did initially, and as you can see, we're in much better shape. Same turn as we quit last time, but we don't have barbarians at the gate. Just beat off some rebels through auto-resolve because we had a lot more guys. So we're going to go back to what I was originally expecting to be the case, which is putting down the rebellion. So we're going to get to it right now. And once again, yeah, you got to micro the little battles, otherwise it gets overwhelming. So right now I'm replenishing my forces. Now that they're getting fed again, I'm going to see what I can do with the rebels. I'm going to micro with the rebels too. And then anybody that takes a city, I'm just going to go deal with them. Seems like the best thing to do right now. So I'll be back. Oh, and of course, while as we keep going, keep improving buildings like we discussed before. Nothing else has changed other than the micro battles. That's been my big lesson learned in my trying to teach you stuff if you wanted to learn. And once again, as always with these guides, I said this is a way. I'm not saying it's the way or even the best way. So moving on. And another thing I missed out on last time to mention, which I need to make sure I do, is look for characters that give you a bonus to integrity. Because while you're resting, you get 1, but while we're putting down the Civil War, and just because of our leader and everything else, if you don't watch it, your units will rebel, even if they're with your loyal brother. So I'm going to get rid of these guys that don't have that. So here's our general, because he won the battle this time around. So we're going to keep him simply because he's loyal, and we like loyals. We like people who are loyal. Integrity is going to go resting, characters. I would have thought they would have won something for winning the battle. I guess not. So even with him, they're going to mutiny in 47 turns. We'd prefer that not to happen. And then like this guy here, I think it is, who's just darn not anybody special. We're going to say adios to him after we transfer the troops. Okay, just want to make sure I was clear on that. Make sure you keep characters that bring integrity up. So, here we are. Where's the date? I don't have an eye on the date. Oh, there you go. 396 AD. Good news is, we're fairly stable. We've got a small army coming in from the north. Nothing too crazy. We'll be able to deal with that. We have our main army over here. Our primary concern is the rebellion getting ready to hold up right outside of Rome. So I'm going to be dealing with that. We've got another small rebellion force. That, the longer they sit there, the stronger they get, which is why we need to deal with them. These guys I'm not too concerned with right now. Still a minor force. So here's the good news. We've finally stabilized our food production, which is great. And this is after buying buildings, and we have a surplus of money. Yes, and look at that. We're making a lot of money each turn. So now is the time we can start rebuilding our army, which is exactly what we're going to try and do, because the one problem we still have to solve is all the public order issues. So long as it's in the negative, eventually the rebellions are going to keep happening. So you got to keep in mind that quelling rebellions with armies is just a short-term solution. You can't keep doing it. It'll break you real fast. So the next step is, after we've gotten our food production set up straight, and simultaneously, really, been focusing on, let's see, like buildings such as auditoriums and things that will help reverse the public order problem. Now, part of it will fix itself. If you go look over here, uncertainty starts off pretty high, goes down to 1 per turn until it's at 0. Once we've quelled the rebellion, that'll put some of the stuff back into place. And then while we're increasing public order, it's just a matter, once again, of perseverance and patience. So I'm going to keep playing and check in when there's something significant to talk about. So by the way, right now I've got 2 generals. Just want to bring that up. I've got my main army up here, which is probably going to just come deal with this and really secure the northern half of Italy. I don't want anybody, or we don't want anybody coming in through the north. And then I'm going to start building a new army down here. And right now it's just going to be a pretty ad hoc kind of, let's see, recruit forces. Oops, sorry, that's not what I wanted to do.
At your command.
So I'll have to mess with it and see what we can get. A bunch of Illuminati bodyguards. Well, we're going to take what we can get at the moment. And this guy's primary function is going to be putting down the rebellion. My primary military production facility is actually up here. And ideally, where is it? Right here. And ideally, we would want to be producing units up north, is what I like to do. But with this unit so close to Rome, I'm just going to build what we can while we can for the moment. So, they did exactly what I was hoping they'd do, the rebels. I wish they waited maybe 1 more turn, but I'm not going to complain. They decided to try and assault Rome with all of our wonderful Roman walls. So,
On watch.
yeah, we're going to have fun with this one while I get everything set up. Be back. I will admit I never do know exactly how to set up for these Rome battles, just because it's such a huge battlefield. And I haven't seen it yet, but watch my luck, will happen this time. They're going to try and do some fancy run around, which is just annoying, because, look, I mean, it's not like you're not going to see it coming. As far as I know, they're not going to be crossing the river, so what I'm hoping will happen is they try and storm the gate, which would be lovely. So, probably already kind of know what's going to happen. You've seen it a million times, I'm sure. So I'm just going to kind of play through, and if something interesting happens or towards the end, I'll do a recap. The mess that is trying to pierce the front gate. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, you don't know it sometimes. This is what it's looking like, big picture. They're just trying to charge the bridge after the honor just took out the gate. Good luck with that. Well, now they're all trying to draw back across the bridge after getting slaughtered, and of course, we get to enjoy our sortying cavalry. There we go. That's always good times. So we're about to have some fun. All right, now that the archers are, the crossbowmen are taken care of, now for the fun part. They wanted to cross the bridge. Well, you want the bridge so bad, you can bloody stay there. So now we flank them from behind. This is always one of my favorite moves. I don't know. Let's watch for a second. I don't want to keep y'all too long. But sometimes it's just fun. Yeah, these little moments that make Total War so awesome. Like, wait a second. We want to leave. Alright, anyway. Sorry, I can't. They're all trying to run. And, nope. And nope, I'm not going to end battle yet. I want to maximize casualties. So, yeah, Battle for Rome is a decisive victory for us, I would say. Okay, so this is kind of another example of how you can mitigate public order. I mean, you're probably already tracking, but I always like to do it anyways, but especially in the early stages, you know, anything that increases public order, especially for this general. I like his stats overall, and based off of kind of what he's doing now, I'm going to have him be my, I guess, what you call the home guard. He's going to be my dedicated rebel hunter, and home defense guy. So that's how I play him, or I'm going to play this guy. So it's been a couple turns, so just wanted to give a quick check-in. So what we got going on right now is we're building up our army down here, and there's some like piracy something going on. I don't know. I don't think it's my guy. I think it's the settlement. Building up a Southern Italy force, a Roman protection force. We already have our primary Legion 10, which is the initial one that we had covering our ASS. And then we're building another kind of elite troop up here as well, because right now I'm in a stalemate. I don't want to attack this guy, the Marsimans, and they don't want to attack me because I'm in a fortified position. So we're kind of in a stalemate, which is locking my troops down. So I need to get something more mobile up here to deal with these incursions that they keep trying to do left and right. Right now they've just kind of been raiding, but I see this. 2 hordes over here. I'm gonna have to deal with them. Worst case, I'll have to give up these settlements for the time being. As I said in the beginning, the key province to hold is Mediolanum. You hold that province and you can threaten everywhere, and no matter where they come from, you can counter it as needed. You lose that, and yeah, that's like the keystone to holding Italy from land, from getting attacked by land anyways. So yeah, there's that. In terms of morale, we're working on it. The food shortage is coming mostly from them damaging our buildings. So that's another thing we need to make sure you're doing is, don't forget, as they damage stuff, to repair it. So I'm going to go through and make sure I do all that. But that's why the food shortage is, in case you're wondering. So no, are things pretty yet? Nope, they're not pretty yet. But are we okay? Yeah, we're still okay. Are we going to be okay? Yeah, we're going to be okay. Just got to hang in there. So just, as I said, wanted to check in, give you an update. If it were easy to play Western Rome, they wouldn't call it a legendary difficulty mode. So I'll be back. Just to check in real quick, just in case you notice, even after upgrading some buildings and buying troops, here's the important thing. Still got some significant positive cash flow. So we can support our armies. That's the key. Well, just a bit of an update. I think it's been a couple turns. Went ahead. This army's coming along. I went ahead and attacked. I needed to deal with them. And he wound up being a pretty decisive victory against this army up here. Went east, dealt with the horde that raised Aquilia. I'll probably be trying to rebuild her. Oh, okay. Well, I guess they didn't exactly. Oh, no. I don't want to abandon it. Yeah, I want to repair it. There we go. All right. Well, let's see. I guess I'll have to wait till next turn, because what I really wanted to point out, and I'm not even going to do that this turn. I'm going to hold off on that. All right, so now we can upgrade to cattle pens. And so what I kind of wanted to highlight in this little 2-minute spiel is research. You know, it's so tempting to go after upgrading your army. It really is, but keep in mind, the number one preventing us from progressing right now is our economy. Even though money-wise we're doing a little bit, we're doing good, still a public order issue. And as you go down this tree, not only does it help with money to maintain our army, but the big ones are it keeps allowing you to upgrade your cities. And there you go, more public order. Anything that gives us public order and all that is good to go. And then there you go, get all of this, more public order. The more the better when it comes to public order. So that's the way I play it anyways. Oh, and just a heads up, I've got a delaying action because their force is really small. I just don't want them producing, so I put a really small army just to delay them. They tried to take Neapolis. I was able to defend them off, counterattack, destroy their army, and now I'm moving back in. So we should be able to knock out this little rebellion down here and at least get the initial rebellions. That'll be the last one. It'll be stabilized except for these guys. But I'm not overly worried about recapturing that right now. Just another quick thing. Look at public order, and still not so hot in these other places. I'll go through real quick so you can look at what it's doing, but at least we're in the positive. Now, grant you, it's going to go in the negative here again for a little bit because of the instability. But that's instability is a medium-term problem. I guess is the best way to put it. So we should be okay there. As for the other provinces, we're gonna have to send this army's next step is probably going to be over here, unfortunately, unless these buildings, it'll probably have to head over there. We got a couple turns. Right now we're in put out fire mode, not prevent fire mode, if that makes any sense, at least in the short term. All right. Right here, so they're not happy, but we got a ways, so semi short-term stabilized. And then this is another big one. Once again, it's the instability issue. So as we secure our borders, which we've dealt with all the kind of major army fires, now it's time to secure our borders, and we're sort of at an 80% solution now, so we'll keep pushing forward. Okay, admittedly it is a bit cheesy, but I just wanted to kind of fool around. So I took my one general that was really just a delay, and I was like, well, let's see what he can do against the garrison force, which was 1 infantry, 1 spear, 1 cavalry, and 1 archers. But I bumped him up against the fake battle line, and that's the cheese factor. Tostitoed in while they fired their archers, let their archers run out of ammo. They didn't even do that much damage, and then moved into shield wall, and I've just been letting them come at me. Still at 88 out of 120 starting, but man, I've been taking a lot with me. I might actually even pull this off and win it. Who the heck knows? So, anyways, if you don't mind cheesing it up, it's just something you can do. It's not something you have to do for the strategy to work. Okay, so the good news is we've pushed back every major incursion, put down the rebellion. I'll probably deal with this state and come back next turn just to knock them out of the game so that they stop being annoying. The only downside is we're still having food problems and public order problems, which is expected just because of the armies raising us. But hopefully we'll get a breather and get to rebuild pretty much just like we did the very first turn. The focus is going to be, now though we got to be careful because we've built up our armies, which is great. We have 3 sizable armies, each capable of taking on a stack on their own. What we got to be careful with is not putting our income down so low we can't keep building, because we got to rebuild again. And just a quick look, as you can see, another big benefit is as we're fighting, we're getting experience, which is helping to stabilize our ability to defend ourselves, which is also good. And keep in mind too, because we're on the defense, our forces are replenishing. And it's interesting because I'm so used to being on the offense, especially in Rome, that it's nice to not have to worry about pushing forward and getting to replenish your troops every turn. So that's always a plus too. So as stated earlier, sent the fleet over here to help stabilize or ensure the stabilization of Sardinia. We did wind up losing Palma to... It wasn't the rebellion that got us. There was a horde that landed, which that and the rebellion just turned into a pain in the butt. But we'll deal with that later. What I'm seeing right now... Oh, this was actually the horde. Yeah, and see... Okay, so this was the horde. If it weren't... That raided it, and then the rebels took it after it got raided. So what you can't see is they are worn the F out. We're not in great shape, but we're not in bad shape. I'm going to Control M so I don't accidentally lose those guys. And what I think I'm going to do, if I can, let's see if I can.
Ready for orders.
And I can. Is even though this is kind of high risk, this is a horde. So that's one of the key things. If you ever get the opportunity, even if it's high risk or you're going to take a lot of casualties to knock a horde out of the game, just do it. It's like the equivalent of taking a capital. Only even better because, as far as I know, they can't come back. It's just gone. So anytime you can deal with the problem permanently, you want to deal with the problem permanently. So it's going to be transport on transport. I don't think they have any Navy vessels. I don't have any Navy vessels. A bunch of seasick MFOs thrown up on each other across the sea. So, yeah, let me kind of play this out. If anything interesting happens, I'll let you know, and we'll go from there. Oh, and by the way, Flaming Shot is definitely going to be your friend in ship battles in general, but especially against transports. They're not very fire resistant. Well, as always, naval battles are a mess. Kiting them with my little fire ship. And we just outnumbered them so bad. The only thing that's been causing me a problem are these damn axemen. So... yeah, I think we'll be alright. Nope, victory is ours. Just sank their general ship. I'm trying to sink these axemen. Man, out of all the ones, it's the axemen with Romans that are tough to deal with, because your only real counter is archers, and the skirmishers, which, as I said, I hate playing with. But we can't get archers, and skirmishers are the only counter. So they always annoy the heck out of me. Okay, so all this horde's got left is one beat-up unit of axemen. So it may take a little turn, but I'm running that bad boy down just to get rid of them. All right, so just an update. It's been a few turns. The strategy hasn't changed. Chase down this dude. He's dead. I had to go ahead and temporarily give up this province. I'm already making plans to take it back. They tried to advance. I tried to sneak in and wipe out the Visigoths, and then the Roman separatists came up to help. I couldn't be... I didn't want to take them all on, so I couldn't besiege it, and it kind of worked out anyways. Or it wouldn't have mattered, I should say. Because these guys decided they were going to try and besiege Mediolanum, and as we said earlier, that is the one city you cannot let fall. At least, other than like Rome and stuff, obviously. So I went ahead, force marched. So we should be fine there. Next turn, should be able to decimate this army pretty easily, and then retake these provinces, and then going to go ahead and land these troops here, hopefully deal a blow with the separatists there, and then probably transition them from there over to Palma. Here's the key thing to note: we're finally more on the offense than defense, which is important. Or not, after this little fight, obviously. So we're transitioning well. Finances, positive food. Public order is still a problem, but it's getting better. This one will be a problem, but we have armies up there, so I'm not really worried about that. This is going to turn into a mess, but we've got armies getting built down here to deal with it. We had Syracuse got raided is why that's going on, by the way, in case you're curious. I had to go defend Syracuse, and we're going to be okay for a couple more turns here. And right now, this is what it is. They're going to rebel again, and we'll have to deal with that when we deal with all this stuff. So we're not stable yet, but we're transitioning along, and pretty much things are going according to plan. Oh yeah, and I forgot, the whole reason I paused in the first place, aside from the update, is barbarian enclaves. This is what we've kind of... I'd research this one if we had the money. We don't got the money, so I'll do it next turn or something, or when this is done. 12 turns from now. Is it a while? Yes, it's a while. Why did we rush it? Fortified towns. That is going to make our life a bazillion times easier. And also, it's going to let us grow our cities, which is going to help increase our garrison sizes. So that's sort of the logic is, before we can go on the offense, we have to ensure we can defend what we, what we're going to kind of leave behind. So that's the logic in doing this. I guess I could have showed you the cutscene, but huzzah! We have survived until 400 AD. A bunch of people made peace with us too, so I don't think things are necessarily going to be calm, but I think we're doing all right. So I'm going to keep on keeping on. Alright, so while food is still off and on kind of a problem, mostly just because I'm starting to regret doing all cattle. I don't know. I don't remember having... Oh, you know what? I think I played on normal last time as part of the thing. I didn't play on hard. But anyways, maybe throwing in some wheat fields might not be a bad idea, but the money's helpful too, though. You just kind of, I just like cattle. It's a nice balance. The main reason we're having food trouble is really because they keep sacking our places. So we'll get food one turn, and then we won't another turn. It's just part of the deal. But it's finally paying off because we can now upgrade to towns, which is going to give us even more forces to help us defend with. Now, let's look at the best one, though. So, yeah, this is probably the better one. Actually, yeah, let's... Great Sequesta, or Seguiso, and grant you them upgrading the towns causes more food stuff, but once again, that's why we're working the civic exchange. So just gonna keep on with the strategies. Retook province over here, getting ready to put down another rebellion over here. It's just it's like a whack-a-mole with rebellions. That's just why getting a handle on the public order thing is so important. It's just not an easy thing to do. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead. These guys aren't a threat yet, so I'm going to deal with this. And I forgot, I think these guys were a horde, so getting rid of them, I think this is going to be their capital, right? No, minor settlement. Never mind. Okay, never mind. But yeah, we're going to deal with these guys and go from there. Okay, no, I was right. They were a horde. So after we take care of this, they will cease to be a problem. Huzzah. So another important thing with consolidating the armies and giving them victories is obviously not just defending the territory, but now we've got enough where we can start getting nomad hunters, which we're going to need when the Huns get here, that's for sure. So it's about basically turning our army back into a professional force to be reckoned with. There's a lot to do with it too. Alright, well, Attila wasn't leading them, but had two Hun hordes. I guess I should have filmed it, but wound up having a pretty awesome fight and pretty much kicked their you-know-what. So,
At your command.
yeah, sorry if I'm breathing a little heavy, I just got done taking out the garbage. Probably should have waited before I started recording, but yeah, c'est la vie. So, quit while I'm ahead. I don't know, I'll think about it. So this is another, I'd say, major victory. Just only really lost one unit too. Nice. The Huns stupidly set out to sea on a bunch of transports with another one. So far I've spotted 3 hordes. I've destroyed one already. This one, yeah, their big advantage is yeah, I guess part of it's just the computer gets dumb sometimes. So yeah. Even though it was risky, I was like, I'll take them out on transport to transport as opposed to frickin' dealing with horse archers. I hate frickin' horse archers. But, huzzah for that.
Fleet reporting.
Now I'm just going to chase this dude down. I'm going to chase him down till he's dead. And then next on the list is dealing with this dude up here. I don't really know how, because I've never played the Huns. I don't really know exactly how many hordes they have. But I think we're doing a good number on them. And see, another thing is, even though sometimes it's risky, when it comes to stuff like this, I can replace my losses. They can't, if I do enough damage to them, they really can't replace theirs. So that's kind of another mindset to keep in mind. And close victory. So, once again, huzzah. Chase him down too, if not this turn, the next turn. And there goes another Hun horde. All for the price of a couple units. I'll take it. Alright, so I took a break and went to bed, and I'm back. So if it suddenly goes like I was low energy to high energy, that's why. because for you it was just a split second. For me, it's been a little bit. Played a few turns. Just want to give you a quick overview. We're starting to get fairly stabilized. I'm going to keep going until I consider us fully stabilized, but we're about 90% there. As you can see, all of our provinces are feeding themselves, and our provinces, and then morale is going up in 3 of the 5. Now, part of that's got to do with the military that we've got, but just for the short term. In the long term, so if you look right here, the military's got a lot to do with that, as do the characters. At the same time, instability is a big issue, -12, and we've got some buildings that we'll build. So the key thing is, at least our rebel problem is quickly, hopefully, coming to a close. You're gonna have to still watch out for over here, where we've got our primary issue is immigrants. All right, we'll have to do something about that. That's going to probably be focus number 1 on building, is stabilizing that. And then over here, -13 to turn, they're going to rebel again. This has been kind of out of all the territories, this has been kind of the pain, not the hardest necessarily, but the biggest pain to hold on. But I think it's important. It's just such a valuable region. So we're going to have to put down another rebellion, and then work on some buildings. So we're not fully stable yet. In terms of military progress, we've gone ahead, we've wiped out the separatist settlement here. We've made peace with, actually a lot of them. We made peace with these guys. It's just, I mean, I was going to kill them, but if they're going to stop attacking, whatever. We have 3 full legions guarding every entrance by land to Italy. We've now got about halfway built up fleet. So we're going to have at least a navy to deal with any invasion assets we see. Now we do have a legion down here, mostly just to kind of help keep it stable, and really that's about it. And once it's stabilized, I'll either move it or get rid of it. And the last vestige of the separatist is Carthago Nova, which we're currently besieging. And the only thing is they've rushed a bunch of units. If they can't make it by next turn, I'll take the city. If they do, might have to rethink how we're going to do that. As you can see, even with all these units, we're still making plenty of money, still investing in the provinces. So that's sort of the update, and I'll be back. Oh, and I did forget to mention another horde showed up right here, but it's not really going to be a problem, I don't think. Oh, sorry, I thought I was recording and I wasn't. I just want to point out real quick that I did go ahead and research the functional specialization. The Separatists started throwing out Tier 2 units en masse. It's time to kind of, even though I'm about to take care of them, I figured it was time to go ahead and start building and upgrading to Tier 2 units. That was after finishing Barbarian Enclaves, which the key thing here is lowering construction time, which is because we're getting into where it's more about not how much things are costing as opposed to how long it takes to build them. Also looking to get to fortified towns as soon as possible for reasons discussed earlier. Another big benefit is I also went ahead and grabbed this one now because it's only 1 turn. In fact, it looks like it happens right away. Maybe okay, we gotta wait 1 turn. So this is a key chain right here. It's up to you. I personally just go all in on the Latin Christianity route simply because it's easiest and it's the way to make the end game the easiest, in my opinion. It causes some initial fluctuation, but once you've gotten your influence in Christianity so high, it gets pretty much, even when you take provinces, if you do it right, the religious differences are not that big of a deal to handle in the medium term. All right, that's it. Also, the political map, as you can see, they don't like us, but we're not at war. You can check out the factions we're at war with right here. Much reduced to what it was in the early game. A lot of them really, like Visigoths, technically we're at war with them, but they're worried more about the Eastern Empire. Some of these I might even try to make some peace with them too. The Huns is going to be obviously the big one. I don't know what this is going to look like when Attila comes, but I have a feeling it's going to be ugly. Now, on the bright side, what we've done is formed already defensive alliances. So I'm working at trying to improve relations and start forming defensive alliances with instead of trying to conquer them. These places aren't worth much anyway, so let's just get them on our side and when we go out to reconquer stuff, and we're not going to worry about the low-end stuff. We're going to worry about reconquering the things that make us moolah. All right, huzzah! This is good news. Of course, we still got a few rebels running around, but we'll take care of them. So I'm going to kind of probably make this the end of the actual guide. Did it go perfect? No. Could I have done things better and smarter? Probably, and by all means, leave comments below on things I could have done better. One of the things that kind of came to mind is maybe I should have done more wheat fields in the beginning than cattle, though the cattle is paying off now, even though it caused some problems early, because look at her. Plenty of money coming in. Even though we don't have a lot of land, we have plenty of money. If you look over here, even though technically public order is going down, it's going down by -1, and where are we at? So -8. But there's reasons for that, and it won't take long to get that stabilized either. So basically, as you can see, stabilization, full stabilization is coming here pretty soon. Food issues, even though these are currently importing, that'll be fixed soon as well. Plenty of money to continue upgrading buildings, plenty of army and our navy to defend. The separatists have been destroyed except for this little guy over here, which I'll go take care of. So that should end the Civil War. Alright. And in terms of diplomacy, now we're only at war with 5 factions. And we have defensive alliances with a couple and non-aggression pacts. So when the horde does come, we will be ready for them when the big one comes. And on top of that, the reason why I'm going to end the guide now is really where you go from here is up to you. The world is your oyster, and all these lands that did get raised. Oh, I guess I got to take them out over here. That's fine. All the lands that did get raised, well, they're actually fertile land probably by now, because raising it destroys the value of the land for a while, but then if it hasn't been used for a while, it actually comes back pretty strong. So it's up to you. You can try and retake Europe. I will probably focus my efforts on Africa just because I don't see the Huns messing with it as much. I'm going to use these guys as a buffer against the Huns. See, they're already coming. There they are. I'm going to use them as a buffer while I protect northern Italy, and I'm going to focus my expansion on maybe Spain just to get rid of the Roman separatists, Africa, well, Egypt, the Eastern Empire's got Egypt. I might start helping the Eastern Empire. Might go ahead and deal with well, no, I make peace with them. Basically, just start reclaiming stuff with the primary effort going to be being to check the Huns. Once I feel the Huns have been put in check, then, hey, go crazy. So I hope you enjoy the guide. I know, as I said, it's not perfect. Feel free to tell me everything I did wrong or could have done better in the comments. I'd love to learn something too, and I'm sure you'll teach me. I hope you enjoyed, and Mac out.